Thank you so much for joining us. I'm at Queensland Moto Park with some friends to get my first taste of the BMW R12 GS. G/S you'll notice, possibly indicating that this bike is within the heritage umbrella rather than a full fat GS adventure bike, but almost certainly a homage to the BMW R80 GS, arguably the bike that started it all, a very important model in the fabric of adventure bike history, and you can see the lineage, at least in terms of styling. We're at Queensland Moto Park, as I say, and it's pretty hairy, probably a little bit outside this bike's design brief as a full-sized dual sport adventure bike, but we make do, don't we? Now the bike you see here is the Enduro variant. So although you could get a BMW R12 GS from $23,990 on the road, you're looking at closer to $30 to get it as you see here, and you get some important upgrades with the Enduro, and I'm glad we have the Enduro being where we are today. Little off-road touches all throughout the bike, the footrests, the bars, the guards, making this bike a bit more into the off-road realm on the spectrum of adventure bikes, which I talk about all the time. GS, you know what that means? Gelandestrassen. Well, that's probably not how you pronounce it, but I'm doing my best. I know that Gelandestrassen, or GS, stands for off-road and street, so you can work that out. I'm very much feeling familiar with this bike as soon as I jumped on it. I've done one session here on this motocross track. It's very loamy, quite hard to ride, to be honest, but it would be hard to ride on any adventure bike, let alone above 1000cc adventure bike. It's very familiar to a GS. If you've ridden an R1300 GS, R1250 GS, any from the family, you're going to jump on this and it's going to feel familiar, almost like a stripped back version, almost like a more svelte, lighter, a bit more agile feeling, at least at the bars, primarily based on the fact that there's just a lot less motorcycle to contend with. The ergos of this bike are spot on. BMW has worked that out, and that's just such an advantage that BMW has for being in this game of boxer adventure bikes for, what, 40 years, 43 years or something. We've got underneath us BMW's 1170cc boxer, so it's not the same engine out of the R1300, it's out of BMW's R12 range. We've seen a few models already. The R12S snag rode the other day, beautiful cafe retro thing. We've also got the R12, what's that thing called? It's like the smaller R18. I can't remember what it's called, doesn't matter. So this bike belongs in BMW's heritage line. Of course, that is most evident in the styling, retro, fun, and I see it really filling this gap where if you could ever complain about an R1300 GS or the GS brand in general, is that perhaps they're almost clinical in the way they are designed for function. They just bloody work. Whereas this thing here with this sort of scrambler attitude, stripped back styling, it brings back a little bit of the fun to the segment, while definitely maintaining like so much of the performance you'd expect from a BMW GS. Being that this is the Enduro variant, we get the Enduro Pro rider mode. Crucial, you can turn the rear ABS off and a bit less traction control, stuff like that. But those engineers out there in Munich have done some magic, as always. It's incredible how you can roll on the throttle in this really soft shit here, like really soft. Maybe this isn't a good example, but some of these corners, like that front end wants to dive in. I find that you can really ride the bike, steer the bike on the throttle because of the way those rider modes are calibrated. I don't feel like I'm putting down all that power all at once. You can really roll it on, and that's crucial when you're riding a big bike on soft soil. So I've done one session. There's not much I can say so far. I was holding on to the damn thing. I'm sure the footage will attest to that, but I'm keen to jump back on it and do some more laps and get a bit of a feel before, in the coming months, we take this bike for a proper trip to see what it's like on the road. Early impressions, I love the way it presents. It rides like a GS, you know, so what more do you need to say? Friendly, but, you know, brutally capable. Considering we're riding on a bloody motocross track on a circa 1000cc adventure bike. It's nuts. But that's the new world we live in. Times have changed. They somehow make these big bikes operate in places where they never used to be able to. So lots of fun, lots of motorbike, lots of rock and roll. Let's jump back on.